Hi everyone, hope you're all okay. Welcome back to the Doodle It Studio. Today I'm going to be showing you the different steps that I've taken to draw a dog and then put some colour in, do a little bit of painting. So what I try and do, I'm just going to try and share my screen. This is the part that I always battle with because for some reason technology is very tricky. So I shall now share my screen, my PowerPoint from there. Okay, so January is apparently all over the world, it is Walk Your Dog Month. So I have decided that it would be cool to try and draw a dog. And I know that there are all kinds of dogs out there, different shapes, different sizes, different colors. We have a cockapoo. Our pet is a crazy dog called Ruby. And she is very funny. She was actually barking in the last video, if any of you noticed the sound effects in the background. So hopefully she'll not do that today, but we'll see. So there are all kinds of dogs, as I mentioned. I've been lucky enough to be asked to paint a few pet portraits for some dogs. People's beloved pets. I've got some white ones, brown ones, black ones. You can see there's some that are all shaggy and furry, and then others are smooth and shiny. This beautiful dog in the corner, she's got beautiful colors. Didn't realize quite how many until I started painting her. But all of them are beautiful and all of them are different, just like we are. So you can decide to do your picture of your dog any way that you want. Now, the next one on this slide, if your starting point is the eyes, I always find that's the easiest part to start with any drawing or picture that you're doing of a person or an animal. Just start with the eyes. I've done mine, as you can notice here, just slightly off to the left, so that because my dog is standing. So just keep in mind when you start your drawing where you're going to put it on the page. And then my next step that I added in was its little nose and the mouth shape. Then I've got the top of the head, just drawing a line. Now you might decide your dog hasn't got fluffy fur. You can just do a smooth line, just mark in where you want the top of the head to be. It might be quite a small dog, so you'd have less space between the eyes and the top of the head. Your next one, I've put in floppy ears. That's because I'm trying to attempt to draw Ruby, our cockapoo. So she's got these floppy ears either side. I also, for some reason, drew those little lines in, which makes her eyes look kind of angry, I've noticed. But you can make your eyes however shape you want. It's up to you. These are your creations. There's no wrong, no right. It's just your creation, how you want it to be. Then try and mark in where you want the back to be. You can see here, this line at the top. This is going to be from the top of the head coming along for the back. And then a line here coming around its head down to its side. And a little bit here, Ruby has got a white, she's sort of whitish underneath all her fur. She's white here. So I've left the shape there for the bottom of their chest. Then draw in the two front legs. You can keep them long, short. You might have a doggy that's quite short in your mind, in your artwork. You could have long, thin legs, not furry and shaggy like Ruby or any other dog that you want to do. And then mark in where the dog goes at the back and the back leg. Now you can see I've only just done one there because now you can then mark that in and then you can draw the leg in at the back and the tail. So that now is a completed dog shape. You can have, your dog can be tall, thin, whatever shape you want. I've kept some of my lines going zigzaggy, as you can see here on the tail and on the chest here and her ears and her top of her head, because my goal that I have is to do a shaggy kind of dog. So that's now a sequence there of all those slides I've just shown, all 8 steps to go through. So starting off with your eyes, adding in little facial features, a little bit of the top of the head, and then going on. So I put these together here to make it easier for you to see them all together, if that makes it easier for you to see. So the next step is adding color if you want to do that. You could just decide to put the shape into your dog by just using your pencil and drawing in fur, but I wanted to try and put some color in mind using paint. Now, I know that some of you don't have paint, So what I've decided to do is, this is actually in this cup on the right, it's concentrated coffee. So whatever you have in your kitchen, you might have some tea that you could make or some coffee. Just use cold water, it's fine. Don't use boiling water, that is not a good idea. Make sure that it's cold. Get the grown up to put it all together for you if you want. Your parent can put it together. And then that will stain on your paper. If you don't have any paints around and you want to make some kind of color with a watercolor effect. So that's what I've done. There's a jar of water on this in this picture, and 2 separate yogurt pots so that you can water down your paint, your coffee, your tea, whatever you decide to use. And I've got quite a fine paintbrush here because it's a small drawing. So try and find a small paintbrush that you have. Don't go in with a big chunky one because you're not going to get the little details in. So the first step that I did was I just layered on areas where I thought the dog would have its shadows, sort of trying to give it shape. Leave some of the paper whites to give it some shape. Even though Ruby is completely brown dog, I've left white areas, but you can decide to mix up your colors if you want. You can even make a green dog. It doesn't matter. You can have a really cool green dog. Then, because she's furry, you can see I've made the brush strokes now very messy around the edges and along her body. I've done separate little brush strokes just to give the impression of her furriness, because she's definitely not a smooth dog. She's very furry and messy. The next step that I did there is the facial features, her eyes and her nose. I've used one of my fine black pens and just drawn those in. And then a pencil that I took and just shaded in underneath to give it a bit of shadow, because then your drawing doesn't look like it's floating on the page. It's got some kind of grounding to keep it all there, basically. So that's me. I thought I was finished, but I think I just still carried on because I wasn't happy with the dark area on one of her legs. So I did do, yes, I did do a little bit of more work there. So you can see now I was quite happy with that part of the picture. So those are the 4 steps to have them all together like I did for the drawing. You can see how it progressed from just doing light colors, just go over and go over, and as it dries you can go over again and you can see it'll start going darker and darker. This is all with coffee. I haven't used any paint here, just some coffee, some pencil and a black pen, and you can get yourself a picture of a little doggy. However you want to make yours. I should just stop that there. You can decide to make your dog any shape or size. I would really love to see your pictures that you make. Please ask your parent if you can send them to me, because I really miss being in the studio with the doodlers in the studio, showing me and then going through their work. So because I'm all on my own here in the studio with no doodlers, it would be fab to have some pictures and see them. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you have fun making your own dog, or maybe like a whole load of dogs. And take care. Bye for now.